Hey, everybody, welcome to another episode of Deep Dive. I'm Diana Chan, and I'm here today again with our co founder, Brad Kam, to do another deep dive on blockchain domains. Today, we are talking all about renting versus owning domains. And so, to start off, Brad, why don't you tell us a little bit about what does the business model for traditional domains versus blockchain domains look like?
Yeah, so with traditional domains, you have this idea of renting. So you have these annual renewals and annual subscriptions, and even the organization that's in charge, ICANN, I think they also get an annual subscription. They get a little fee. So you've got a fee being charged by kind of like the nonprofit that's organizing all of this, and then you have another fee, annual fee charged by the registry, like the creator of .com. Then you got a third fee charged by the registrar, like GoDaddy, whoever you're buying the domain from. So three subscriptions, all baked in. Everyone's getting their little piece each year. And then with blockchain domains, the idea is that just like any other crypto asset, you own this completely. So this is stored inside of your wallet. You pay one time. You no longer need to worry about what a future relationship is with the registry because the registry doesn't have any control over you anymore.
Got it. So when Unstoppable created these blockchain domains, why did they decide to create these domains in a way where the user would get to own the domain for life instead of having to pay an annual registration fee?
Yeah, well, like there are all of these goofy problems that happen in the traditional domain world. So there was kind of a crazy case where .org registry was going to be sold to somebody else, and then the prices were going to, I think, triple. And there was this big outcry because all these nonprofits were no longer going to be able to continue to support their domains and their websites. And that all comes from the fact that you have this subscription. So you really have to have this like long-term view. You have to have this like trust with your registry that they're not going to do any of these crazy things. And if you just take that out of the equation entirely, you have a much more secure relationship. It's more like, I sold you a football and now it's yours, and I can't like go and turn off I can't go and like turn it off, so there's no way for you to throw it anymore, 2 years down the line because you and I got into some sort of a dispute. So it's just better for the user to not have to worry about any of that. You're just trusting the blockchain. As long as the blockchain continues to function, you're good. It doesn't matter what happens to unstoppable domains. So that was one really key idea. We just thought that that was the best way to show users you can trust this thing because you don't have to trust Unstoppable in order to use it. So that was really important to us. The other thing is that domains are used for payments. So if I'm telling everybody, hey, if you want to pay me, use Brad.crypto, send me money to Brad.crypto, and then it comes to November 30th, and that was my registration deadline, and I forgot, and somebody else snagged it, and then you sent me $10,000 on December 1st, and somebody else gets it because I forgot to register. That's a crazy, crazy level of risk, and I know it sounds goofy, but apparently Google Argentina lost control of their domain name a couple of months ago because they forgot to register it. Even Google forgot to register one of their domain names. So it's just a security risk to have that subscription there. Obviously, you could argue that it's good for the registry to get paid once a year, but it's definitely not good for the user. I think this gets to the third thing, which is it's just part of the crypto ethos. Like the crypto ethos is about ownership. Getting companies out of the middle so that I'm in charge and I'm able to do what I want with my assets. And all that comes back to having this no renewal fees. I own it forever.
Got it. So that concept of like user ownership and then that whole idea of trust and security, those are really big pros to being able to own your blockchain domain name versus renting it. Are there any cons to owning your domain versus renting it?
Well, I think the pros are mostly for the registries, which is part of the reason why you've seen this argument so much in the traditional domain name world, because obviously, the business thinks it's a good idea to get paid once per year as opposed to only one time. So I think that's probably the biggest pro. I think that if you're a user, you might be worried about losing your domain, and if you lose your domain, it's just gone forever. But there's probably better ways to protect you than to for have you be forced to pay a rental fee each year to a registry. So, for example, you could actually set up your own, backup system where once per year you have to do something or sign a message or whatnot. And if you don't, then the domain goes back to somebody else, or gets sent to you in some other address that you control. You can choose to set up all of these security mechanisms you want, and they're optional. You don't need to be forced into that by the registry, and even still, when the registry, that downside, if you're worried about losing your domain name, it's not that you get the domain name back. The registry gets the domain name back if you don't pay or you forget to pay. So you still lose it. So probably not probably best to just put the user in control, and then you can come up with your own backup systems.
Yeah, for sure. So, looking ahead to the future, what can we expect to see in terms of the landscape of owning versus renting your domain?
So it's not that renting is bad, it's that being forced to rent is bad. And so what I think is going to happen is you're going to have people renting domains too. I'm going to buy a domain name and then I'm going to rent it out for various purposes. I might even, sell it to 5 different people where they can all have, a 20% stake in it. I could rent it for a month. I could rent it for an hour. All kinds of interesting stuff can happen on the blockchain, and it's super easy to do all of that with smart contracts. But again, should be user choosing. So as long as the user owns it completely, then you can make all of this stuff on top.
Got it. Got it. Okay. Well, thanks so much, Brad, for joining me on another deep dive. If you guys have any other questions about owning versus renting your domains, definitely tweet us at Unstoppable Web or drop a comment below, and we'll make sure to get all of your questions answered. Thanks.